Nick Sirianni Live, presented by Premier Orthopedic.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks.
We'll kick it off with John, and then we'll go to Ed.
Hey, Nick. Wanted to revisit the deep shots. You mentioned you had to take a look at it. I know you mentioned the reroute at the stop, but at the top of the routes, you think it was a tracking issue? You just got to sort of run through it.
Again, I look back at that and definitely see the reroute, affected us. That's for sure. That's what defenses do. I mean, sometimes you're expecting a certain look. They give you a different look, or they reroute within the middle of it. That definitely affected it. I'm not here to assign blame to. We're just looking for solutions. And that's what we're doing. That's what today was about. That's what the rest of the week will be about, to find solutions. But I definitely think that the reroute affected the play, so hats off to them.
We'll go to Ed and then Rube.
Yeah, hi, Nick.
Hey, Ed.
Just to ask you about Jalen Hurts. He only had the two runs yesterday. I think that's only the fourth time in his career where he's carried it so few times. Was he 100% healthy, or was it just something Denver was doing to kind of limit him and keep him contained?
Yeah, I think you saw a couple things that we did where, whether they were RPOs or whatnot, that, he was able to have the receiver in the flat, or the tight end in the flat, or the running back in the flat. When you have that ability to get that to that playmaker in the flat, you take it. You know, again, we're always looking for the best mode to attack a defense. Sometimes that's with Jalen running. Sometimes that's with off-script plays. It's just the way the game went yesterday. And like I said, there was a couple RPOs that he had really good plays with, where there was guys open in the flat that he has the ability to run those if the guy's not open in the flat. So it's just kind of the way the dictation of the game went yesterday within plays.
We'll go to Rube and then Dave.
Hey, Nick, the last three games, whoever had the big lead early had trouble keeping the lead. Obviously, the Rams game in the last two. Why is it so hard to keep momentum when you have a big lead? And as a coach in game, what steps can you take to try to get the momentum back when you feel like it's going the other way?
Yeah, I think one thing when you see comebacks there, there's some common themes. We talked about this after maybe last week, right? It's offensively, having quick drives, going, 3 and out, or offensively turning the ball over. We've had some 3 and outs. The Rams had some 3 and outs. If I remember rightly, going back, wasn't really any turnovers there by us. And then defensively, it's about letting them, get a get a big play. I think that's always, those things are always going through our mind when we have a lead, but we want to still be, pressing, aggressive, all those different things. There's not a, you don't really think until late in the fourth, and depending on how much you're up, it depends on when you start doing this in the fourth, of when you start to be in essentially a 4-minute mode. That's not in our mindset at all in the third quarter. That's not in our mindset until certain portions of the fourth. And so there's different reasons, right? I think the one thing yesterday is, as the fourth quarter was starting, they were continuing a drive to go down 7, right? In that drive. So not necessarily exactly the same thing, but there were some of the things. Offense had some 3 and outs that put the defense back on the field. So never just one thing. Those are things that we think about in those scenarios, but always trying to stay aggressive till the end to be able to have as big a lead as we possibly can have. Credit to them. They came back and got themselves back in the game.
We'll go to Dave and then Zach.
Hey, Nick, with some of the ups and downs we've seen so far this year, what are the things offensively you think you guys can lean on going forward?
Yeah, I think every game dictates different things, Dave. Like yesterday, we saw opportunity in the pass game to be able to take advantage of a couple things and a couple matchups that we were getting. I think for a majority of the first half and even into the second drive of the first drive of the second half. We were having a lot of success with that, throwing for 200 plus yards there, and a little bit over 2 quarters of work. And then, some other things, that happened that we didn't finish out that game. But I think that, every game calls for something different, right? We had some RPOs yesterday were really good. Sometimes our RPOs aren't going to be good based off how they're doing. We have the players to be able to run and pass, right? That's how we feel. And you want to dictate to the defense what you want to do. But there are times that you also, you can't just force something in there, and you got to take what they give you in the run game and the pass game, no matter what. And so we have a lot of confidence, and we gotta build on that. We have to, finish a game. We have to play a game all the way through, coaching, playing, everything. And so I think that's something that we have is the ability with the players that we have on this team, the ability to do it multiple ways, and we just got to do it and coach it more consistently.
We'll go to Zach and then Bob.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. I know how much you enjoy discussing injuries, but do you have any update on Landon's status? And regardless of a firm update or not, he's been laboring through something during the past month, missed time in 2 games. How do you weigh a player pushing through the injury and giving him time to try to improve?
Yeah, always going to do what we feel is best for the player. If we didn't, and we just made everything selfishly about, ourselves as the team or whatever, that's not good business. So it's always going to be in best interest of the player. I haven't met with the medical staff yet. That's obviously a busy day going into a Thursday night game. So we'll have more updates for you, Zach. I know the injury report, Bob Wright, comes out later on today. So we'll see where he is there. I just love how Landon always battles, but we always are going to do what's best for the player, because their health is more important than any game, always.
We'll go to Bob and then Jeff.
Hey, Nick, when Landon goes down, can one guy impact your ability to run the football? And the other question in addition to that is, when you sit down after a game and you're watching, if Saquon has one, I think he had 1 carry, there was a penalty too. If he's got 7 calls running the football, do you say to yourself, yeah, we got to do better than that getting the football?
I mean, yeah, you always want to give, we want to get AJ touches, we want to get Smitty touches, we want to get Saquon touches, we want to get Dallas touches, right? And that's just the flow of each. I think that's why you have to look at the big picture of the body of work that we've had so far, as opposed to any in-game scenario. You're doing everything you can do in-game to win. Now, with that being said, of course, we want to get Saquon the ball, but sometimes it's getting him the ball through the pass game. Sometimes it's through the running game. Obviously more so through the running game with him because he's a running back. As far, Landon's obviously a phenomenal football player. So yeah, of course, when you lose a guy like Landon, that Landon Dickerson is who he is, right? He's a great football player. So, but we have so much faith and belief in everybody that's on this 53-man roster, and for that matter, the guys that are also on the practice squad. They have built up reps. Brett has built up reps with us, and Pryor's got built up reps with us, that we have faith in them when they go in, because we've seen it. Fred, you name it. So it's not something new. It's the life of doing business in the NFL, and so have a lot of confidence in those guys behind Landon too. But of course, we have a ton of confidence in Landon and the things that he can do. So,
Thanks.
We'll go to Jeff and then Brooks.
Hey, Nick, last night you said that the play calls aren't coming in late. So I'm wondering what can be done to help Jalen Hurts get to the line quick and get the plays off faster so that you're not so deep into the play clock.
I believe I said, Jeff, that there's never just one thing, right? There's play calls could be coming in late. There could be communication errors with. I kind of went through all the different things.
Okay. Your first response was no to the direct answer.
I kind of
so
went
I took
through
it
all
as
the
that.
all the different things that go into getting up to the line of scrimmage. So, and I believe I also said, hey, it's never just one thing. Throughout the course of the game, we have to practice it better. We have to coach it better, and it always comes down to how you go through it in practice. So, never just one thing. We have to get better at it, though, as coaches and as players.
If I may follow up, this has been
Sure.
you guys have consistently been late in the play clocks since Jalen Hurts has been the quarterback. So this has been a kind of like a running theme for the last several years now. So he's the one common denominator. So, what if he's part of the process for a while now, what can be done to help him get the plays off quicker?
Sure. Again, like I said, it takes a lot. It's a lot of different things. Like in this game, this isn't tennis where you can assign the blame to one person. This is football, and there's multiple different things that go into each and every one of these things. So we stress and we will detail out our communication from just like all the things that from coach to quarterback, then from sideline to huddle. You can ask Aaron Moorhead when we talk to him. He's got a tough job there, and anytime that transition slow, obviously he gets let known about it, and same with the players there. Then it's knowing what to do, and through your preparation, through the game plan, and then getting up to the line of scrimmage and working that process in practice. Then there's the motion, there's the identifying things. Again, football is the ultimate team game. A lot of things that go into it. So, and I'm never going to assign blame to one party, especially when it's not one party that's responsible. It's a team, and it's a team thing.
We have time for two more, so we'll go to Brooks and then Bo.
Hey, Nick, how did Landon Dickerson's injury affect the approach of running the ball in the second half, if at all? And how has the overall health of the offensive line affected the approach of the run game this season?
I think Bob asked me that similar question right there, and I said, I'll repeat, obviously when you lose a guy like Landon Dickerson, he's a heck of a football player, but we have a lot of faith in the guys behind him, and you're attacking a defense, you're attacking players, different things like that. And so, sometimes, when you lose a guy at a spot, it affects your plan. Sometimes, it doesn't, and you got to go with what you planned. But we're always thinking what's best interest of the players. And the second part of that question was?
The overall health of the offensive line, if that's affected the approach in terms of running the ball this season.
Yeah, no, I think those guys are battling. Gotten some different types of looks that we've kind of discussed, right, with, what we're seeing from defenses. It's always going to come down to us as coaches putting them in positions to succeed, and then the execution from the players. Again, full team, full deal with team. You guys get the injury report every week, so you guys know what's going on there. But got a ton of faith in the guys up front, and they've been really good players for a very long time. And we're working through getting it to the standard that we all expect. But there's time. It takes time, and there's a process to it.
We'll end with Bo here.
Hey, Nick, from a game strategy standpoint, what did you make of Sean Payton going for 2, and how did that affect sort of the way that you thought about the final 7 minutes or so of that game?
Yeah, whether you're tied in that final 7 minutes or down 1, doesn't really change. You're going down there in that time to try to score a touchdown. Then you're probably thinking you're going for 2 off of that, because he pressed the 2-point. But hats off to him. He did something that you might not see quite often. He's a heck of a football coach. He's been a great coach for a long time. Always been a fan of his, and what he's done in the NFL and everything. But it might not change your approach of how you go attack, but it may change your approach if you score a touchdown and get to the end of the game right there, and what you do after that touchdown. Obviously, to go up 6 might not give you anything, but you try to go up 7 if you go down there and score in that scenario, which we didn't. But yeah, he did that, and that's where it kind of changes your mindset a little bit.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Nick Sirianni Live, presented by Premier Orthopedic.